The train now approaching platform 5 is the 10:32 South-Western Railway service to Kew Bridge via Hounslow. Calling at...
I'm not sure where Jeff is. He's texting me.
Platform 5.
Just gonna get on the train.
Welcome your South-Western Railway service to Kew Bridge via Barnes Bridge. This road is located in the ring.
Scion Lane, Isleworth.
You right there? It's cold, isn't it? We're about to go into the London Museum of Water and Steam and meet Oliver Piercy, who is the Chair of Trustees.
I can see him already.
He's there.
I think he's got tea.
Oh. Hello. Thank you so much for inviting us. What is the significance of the site here and what is the Museum of Water and Steam all about?
This is the most important site of the water pumping industry in the world. It's the place where for the first time two technologies, cast iron water mains and the Cornish cycle engine, came together, which made continuous water supply possible, and that in its turn made the growth of the modern city viable.
So what can we expect to see here as we have a look around the museum?
You can expect to see the 5 original engines, Cornish cycle engines, which are among the largest engines ever erected. You can see a lot of other working engines, and you will also see a whole number of displays and exhibits relating to water supply.
I hear you also have some museum cats, is that correct?
We have 2 museum cats at the moment, Wicksteed and Maudsley, although Maudsley is actually a female cat, so we call her Maud for short. They're named after engineers.
We're with Peter Davies. Hello.
Hello.
And you're going to take us on a tour up the Standpipe Tower, is that correct?
That's absolutely right,
Thank you very much. Just very briefly, what is the Standpipe Tower for? What was it used for?
Well, this tower was built in 1867. In those days, the Victorians had pumping technology using beam engines which were non-rotary. By non-rotary, it meant that the beam rocked up and down. Every time it rocked up and down, it pumped a bit of water. But the consumers obviously want to have water pouring out of their taps in a continuous flow, which means you have to have a constant pressure in your water supply. So the way the Victorians did that was they pumped the water gradually up this big tower here, which you see behind you, and then the water overflowed into a pipe about 2/3 of the way up the tower, and that then poured into the water mains, which gave you a constant pressure in the pipes.
We're quite privileged because the tower isn't open every day to the general public. It is open on certain times of the year because it's a confined space. Woo, wind! Because it's a confined space, they can only take it in small groups at a time. I've been told though, there's 161 steps, which, viewers, as we all know, is the equivalent to a 15-storey building.
Yeah, so these are, if you look in front of you here, you've got 2 pairs of standpipes.
Okay.
These huge, great big pipes here that you're standing at the base of the tower. And as I said, what happens is the water was pumped in through that inlet there, up to the top of this thing, overflows into that pipe that's next to it, which then pours down into the water mains which run under the street.
Okay.
That's a long way up. I've let Peter and Vicki go ahead. Here's 15 stories, 161 steps in about 10 seconds flat, speed it up.
We made it to the top and there is an incredible view. Peter was telling us that in the Second World War, people during air raids would come up here with a map and binoculars and they would be directing the fire service towards fires caused by the Blitz. which must have been a terrifying experience to be up here with all the planes and the bombing taking place.
After you.
Thank you, Peter. We're off to the railway now.
Charlie, nice to meet you.
Charlie, nice to meet you.
How are you?
What's that? Are you arranging a ride on the footplate already?
I think that might be happening.
We could go for a ride on the footplate, or even better, you could have a drive.
No.
Yes, it's easy.
Yes, absolutely.
It's really easy.
Okay.
It's like riding a bike,
I only have
with 4 wheels instead of 2.
We're on the train. Vicky's back driving it apparently.
Yep.
Oliver, I wanted to say that this is London's only steam railway, but there's another museum down the road in Kempton.
Yes, the Kempton Great Engines Trust have a railway down the road.
And Kempton is just within the London boundary, so
Just within the London
so
boundary,
so strictly you're one of 2
One of 2
steam railways
Yes.
in London. So you're okay. Okay.
We might be the best steam railway.
There's people from Kempton watching this now, shaking their head. I remember in all the stations, and you went on a footplate, but no one
Yes.
actually let you drive a train, did they?
No, but that's because they were like big trains.
Oh, top tip: if you do that in future, ask.
Ah.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
They might help
They
me
won't.
find
They
them.
won't offer until you ask.
Okay.
Can you tell me what this is, Vicky?
This makes it go.
What's it called?
I don't know. But you,
Ask Charlie.
Charlie told me that's what it is. That's what he said. He said this one makes it go.
The word you're looking for is regulator.
There we go.
What's the word?
Regulator.
One of the things we're particularly concerned about is, I say, I'm interested in pipework in the same sort of quality of house over 4
Make top trumps. Thames water.
Yes, but can I get you to climb inside a water ring main first?
You can.
This way. This way.
There's a rat. Luckily, it's not a real one. So this is the steam hall. Oliver, tell us what we can see here in the steam hall.
What you can see here is some of our smaller engines. These are all engines that we've moved to this site from elsewhere. They're all engines which have pumped water. We're not a museum of steam engines, we're a museum about water supply, but pumping equipment of all sorts was a very important feature of water supply, and that's why we have the engines here.
Where are we?
So I thought the engines in the steam hall were big. No, these are huge. So we've got the 90-inch and then the 100-inch.
That's right, yes.
And they are just incredible. So they're Cornish beam.
They're Cornish cycle beam engines. They're about twice as efficient as a Bolton and Watt engine. And an engineer called Thomas Wicksteed, who worked for the London Water Companies, went down to Cornwall, saw these, said they're just what we need for water supply. They bought a second-hand one and put it up at Old Ford, and when that worked, the Grand Junction Company commissioned the 90-inch engine from Copperhouse's foundry in Hale. That was the first Cornish cycle beam engine specifically commissioned for water supply. The first of a very long line, because within 30 years, 70 or 80% of London's water supply was being pumped by Cornish cycle beam engines. When the water demand went up and the 90-inch couldn't supply it, they commissioned the 100-inch, the engine house we're in now, which is even bigger cylinder, even more massive engine.
demonstrations of the engines here at the museum, and we're about to have a look at the Bull engine. You should all come to the museum, the London Museum of Water and Steam. The nearest station is Kew Bridge.
On the train back. I wonder where Vicky's gone.
See ya! He's eating, I don't want to disturb him. Hello.